fight for it, baby. People wait their whole lives for that feeling.
This ain't what it was. We were supposed to love. You gotta hold it down. Now it's one to one to fall. One that I love. I don't understand. You think I'm trying. Now you wanna do with my heart in your hands. Making the moves. Unless we can be friends. But that wasn't in the plan. But we was on a man. But I couldn't run. I should've played away. Now you tryna turn me on. Now you tryna turn me on.
But if you do, then you know what's up.
I know what's up. What's that supposed to mean? I know what's up.
You know what's up.
No, I don't know unless you tell me. Do I look like a mind reader to you? Do you see some big turban on my head?
Rich, don't even try.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. We're back another week. Happy to see you guys. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We're just back on it. We're going to be discussing the dweller on the threshold, the dweller on the threshold today. Now, this is a concept that most people don't know much about, so this will be an introduction to a concept that most people are unaware of. So it may be a difficult situation. It may be hard to understand. So to help people understand this dweller on the threshold and things of that nature, I do have a video excerpt from a movie to kind of just set us up for what's going to happen, or set us up for the idea that we're discussing in this video. But first, I just want to say my name is the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. If you did not know, shout out to the Patreon family, patreon.com/the Hood Mystic. This week is the last week to do moon sign readings for the month, so get there. Sunday, I managed to do all of the moon sign readings, so if you haven't been there to check out your moon sign reading yet, go there today after this video. Go now, doesn't matter. So yeah, just really wanted to let people know about that. But let's get into this video. Let's discuss this energy, and we'll be back to discuss the astrology. And so, real quick video, but that was taken from The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. And so if you've never seen that movie, he had reached a point where he had just been trying to get out of this world that he was living in, where he was being monitored, where the whole thing was about him, and he was just trying to get out of that. Like, he was a part of this like reality show. If you've never seen The Truman Show, you really got to see that movie, because that movie is all about waking up and dealing with spirituality in a real sense. Because generally, before spirituality, we're living in a world pre-programmed for us that has no bearing onto our spiritual attainment or spiritual development. So once we take that vow to be like, you know what, I'm going to wake the fuck up, I'm not going to be doing the same stuff that I've been doing, I'm going to start to do different things, then by default the world that you want has to change. So what do I mean? Ultimately, Bobby Hemmett says this. He says, you know, if a dog thought that in his next lifetime he would be a human, then his idea of what he would do in his human lifestyle would be something to the effect of getting unlimited amounts of kibbles and bits, you know, making sure everybody has Alpo to eat, you know, like when a dog becomes a human, he's gonna sniff so many asses. But then that dog is not factoring in that once you become a human, there are different levels and different things you do. Like, you can't evolve into a human and still do dog shit. So in the realms of spirituality, when we transcend from humanity into godhood, we no longer can do human shit. So this is all identified in the realms of Saturn. Today we're going to be talking about Saturn and the learning triangle. Tonight I'm going to be discussing this new moon in full detail on the Ringing Stone Network. So be sure to check that out. That's blogtalkradio.com/Ringing Stone Network. It will be at 9 p.m. if you want to catch it live, but I will be rebroadcasting it on this channel. But what I'm going to be doing tonight is talking about the new moon from point A, step 1, and then hopefully I'll take everybody all the way to step Z, you know, all the way from beginning to end, and have a full elaboration, full conversation in regards to the new moon. And I'm going to be talking to a lot of younger people tonight, so generally I'm talking to people who don't know anything about the new moon and going to explain the new moon to them from the most elementary, basic, primary level. So if you want to get in tune to what we're talking about tonight, tune into the Ring and Stone Network. But as of now, we're not talking about the new moon, and specifically we're talking about the daily energy. And the daily energy to me is really focused in on Saturn. I feel that a lot of people will discuss the new moon, but they won't discuss this Saturn trine Uranus square North Node transit. The date that I put 2017, got you, I'll change it. But anyways, so the reality is Saturn and Capricorn represents real life manifestation. And peace to everybody for joining me on the live this morning. I really appreciate the energy. Like, without you guys here supporting me, I wouldn't be doing it. So I'm doing this for us, you know, and I appreciate, you know, anybody tuning in, whether they on the chat, if they just, you know, sitting and watching it. I really appreciate you. But let's deal with Saturn and Capricorn trine Uranus, and what is this actually saying? Why am I calling this video the Dweller of the Threshold? Saturn represents real manifestation, especially in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign. Saturn is a Sirius planet. So we're dealing with a level of soul and physicality. And this is the beginnings of a realization. Saturn is at 2 degrees Capricorn. Uranus is at 1 degree Taurus. So what are we like? We're talking about the beginning stages of a huge transformation. And there's no way around it. And so what does this really symbolize? This symbolizes ascension. And it also symbolizes the opposite of ascension and what a person may expect from not trying to include the soul into their physicality. Like, to me, yeah, that's just hibiscus. It's hibiscus and mint and lemongrass this morning. But yeah, so my thing is, if you are not ascending, then you are dealing with a particular adverse condition. Now, if you are ascending, you're dealing with a different reality. Like, just like take a second and think about it. If I was ascending on a mountain, then by default, my surroundings, my air, everything, like my stability, everything is now challenged. So therefore, what does Saturn influence ascension? Like, what is the influence of ascension and Saturn like put together? Like, what could that mean in our lives? Well, it could mean not being around people any longer, separating from people. Like, it can mean a whole lot, because the reality is, before Saturn came into Capricorn, we were dealing with the level of glamour and illusion. When you look at the physical world, it's just the physical world. The physical world only means something when we start to feel a certain way about it. Like, the physical world is a toilet. Humans be like, well, I got a gold toilet, so this makes me feel better. Well, I sit on a white linoleum toilet and we give the same shit to it. Humans would be like, I got a big ass house. Well, I got this small ass house and my family only stays in little pockets. A majority of my small ass house goes unused. I'm in my office, my kids are in their room, my wife is in our room for a majority of the time. We got a whole living room, a whole dining room, a whole kitchen, a whole basement that's not being used. In theory, we could invite 4 homeless families to come live in home of the unoccupied space that we use. So therefore, we are dealing with a level of glamour and illusion. Like, no, we need space. No, not necessarily. We need to understand that this world is built upon a level of glamour and illusion. And so Uranus coming into the first degree of Taurus is the pure, unadulterated, I don't give a fuck, I could care less soul emerging into your present reality. Your soul is here. Your higher self is here. It is emerging. It is beginning to emerge. And so because of that, those illusions that you were living in, that glamour, that gold toilet that you were sitting on, the soul is gonna say, you know, that's just a toilet, right? You know, you got a lot of unoccupied space and you wasting a lot of money trying to live up to a standard that don't nobody really care about no more, because I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm changing a lot of perspectives. I'm changing a lot of minds, because I am the soul. I am the higher self. I am powerful. Therefore, the things that you thought were powerful have to become under close examination. And so once we talk about, you know, I'm gonna talk about the new moon a little later before I get that, but let's still deal with this astrology. So we have Saturn trine Uranus, and then we have a square. This energy then squares over to the North Node, which stays in the first decan of Leo. The first decan of Leo is ruled by, who wanna guess what the first decan of Leo is ruled by? What planet? I'll answer it for you since we time sensitive. Saturn in the sun. So therefore, this first decan of Leo puts a serious nature on the spiritual development. As the North Node transits into the first decan of Leo, then that means that the seriousness of the spirituality is something that we have to recognize in our own individual lives. You cannot deny the experiences that you've been having. Therefore, if you are still thinking on the level that you need a bigger house, if you're still thinking on the level that you need a particular romance, if you're still thinking on these weird ass levels, then you are dealing with a particular karma that I don't want to partake in. Like, I don't want to be attached to something right now and lose it and feel some type of way about it. Like, I don't want to be in that space with you. So therefore, I'm just letting you know, there's a lot of different things. Dang, I should have researched that before I came on this live, Blue Mystery. I should have. But hopefully I could research it now. Chauncey, do you see that last comment? Mm-hmm. Could you Google exactly the Sabian symbol for Saturn at 2 degrees? So, not Saturn, but 2 degrees of Capricorn. Sabian symbol, 2 degrees of Capricorn. So, the first decan of Leo represents a seriousness beyond seriousness of your spiritual study, your spiritual realization. And like I said, this energy is a square, meaning that there is some undeniable spiritual shit going on in your life. And you trying to find it on YouTube, you trying to find it on Google, you trying to find it on Facebook, but this shit is deeply within you. This is all about your DNA. This is all about your RNA. This is all about your space, time, and continuum, and you breaking through the barriers. There is a physical reality that may be something that you put your emotions in, but you need not to, because there's a spiritual reality that supersedes any physical reality. So if you are, say for instance, you are deeply dealing with the source or the cause to your life, meaning that you're deeply investigating into your magic, you're understanding that this is a new moon, this is a perfect time to set intentions, and then, you know, a week from now you set an intention and then you lose your job, or you know, you have to move, then you know for a fact that you created that situation by working with this full moon. Now, if you were just simply mindlessly going about life just waiting for shit to happen, hoping that you get a bigger house, the reality is that you want a bigger illusion. You want bigger glamour. You don't want to deal with the truth of what you're coming here to do. And that's okay. But I'm just letting you know what's happening. I'm not judging or trying to persuade or try to make people do something. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to let people know that the soul is real and the soul is emerging. And if you don't like this, or if you're not comfortable with the soul, if you're not comfortable with spirituality, then I really don't have a solution for you. Maybe you should go to school, learn about stocks, and get into the stock market or something. Learn about, you know, trading, you know, like get into something. Because whatever you get into, you're going to run away from your spirit, and your spirit is going to follow you. This is what we're dealing with. And so this is not to haunt you. This is not to bring you down. This is for you to simply realize some stuff. And Saturn could seem like a boogeyman. Saturn could seem like something that's trying to haunt you, but ultimately it's trying to free you from the reality. Like, the reality is that we all have a toilet. I might paint mine black, you might paint yours gold, you may paint yours purple, you might put little frizzies on your shit, you might encase yours in diamonds. I don't give a shit. Like, whatever you do to your toilet, guess what? When I gotta doo-doo, when I gotta pee, please let me go to your bathroom. Like, you can do all this extra shit if you want, but I'm more or less focused on the function of it all. And I'm not trying to be crass or gross. I'm really trying to be poignant and really make sure people understand what I mean when I'm talking about the dweller on the threshold. Because a person might be like, you know what, Hood Mystic? You are crazy as hell. everybody got a gold bathroom, a gold toilet. What you mean? Shouldn't we all aspire to have a gold toilet? No. We should all aspire to have, you know, a toilet. Because a toilet provides a certain type of function. There's no way that you could sit and talk to me about this glamour all day, about how better an Instagram model is versus, you know, a regular girl walking down the street. Like, this is what we're talking about when we talk about glamour and illusion. Do you not know that your whole idea of what beauty is has been crafted by the CIA, and you've accepted these ideas? So when a normal person come walking by you, you overlook them because you looking for something better or greater that was created by goddamn Photoshop. Like, and this is what you're trying to get. My reality is much deeper than what the physical has shown me. My reality has transcended that, and I'm only saying that because I was once at a place where I thought that all of this shit was real. I thought that it was perfectly normal to want a gold toilet. Like, I thought like you supposed to get a gold toilet, and that's all that life was about. But now we into a different state and time. We're like Mars is in Aquarius, full blown, and it's trining this new moon, and it's like, you know, if we all are sent here to be game changers or light bringers or light workers or, you know, helpers of humanity, whatever the case may be, it's time to mobilize and act upon your spiritual gifts. If you're a game changer, what are the game changer actions that you've been exhibiting? Therefore, there shouldn't be any question on, you know, what should you do? Well, you got to start with intending. You got to start like if you don't know what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. I'm going to say that. I feel like I'm going to say that for the rest of my life. You know, I'll be 80 years old talking to y'all. Well, I still don't know what I want to do in my life. You know exactly what you want to do with your life. Since you don't know, the goal is to figure out. Like, you should spend night and day of trying to figure out what exactly it is that you want to do. Because if we end on that thought, I don't know what I want to do, and then we start doing some shit, then clearly you don't know what you want to do. If you say, I don't know what I want to do, and then you go downstairs and cook a goddamn hamburger, you just ain't real enough to say all you want to do is sit around and eat hamburgers all day. And I get it. But the reality is that you have to align your spiritual goals and your spiritual actions, or else your spiritual attainment will not happen. I can't do it for you. Nobody can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So what actions are you dealing with in the form of being a game changer? Like, you know, where I'm at is just more or less being the best friend that I could be to my friends. That's where I'm at today. You know, really listening, very much giving, and like, you know, creating and showing much of a vibe. Like, you know, this is some good shit. Being like, you know, the reality is, like, I did not know this until yesterday, where it was like, you know, if you are gonna kick it with me, or if you are gonna hang out with me, then shit, we about to have a good time. And I'm not gonna wait on you to show me a good time. I'm gonna take the initiative to be like, all right, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do this, I know about this place, because like, that's my intention. I want you to have a good time, you know. And it's all of, and that's more or less speaking to the new moon. Like, what do you intend to give your partner? What do you intend to give whoever you're working with? And what are you going to do to create this magical life? Like, are you going to just simply wait for it? If you're going to simply wait for it, then you're going to be stuck behind the threshold, because you actually think that something can happen within this matrix that can benefit you. without actually doing the magical work, without actually understanding about this magical stuff. Like, a lot of people want shit to happen to them and they don't even want to read. They rather like watch TV and things of that nature. But you know, this is largely about knowledge and education. Of course, people went to school and got taught to hate school by design. So when it comes to really educating yourself, really informing yourself on how to better yourself, you rather not. You rather watch TV. And then you think there's nothing wrong with that because people around you is watching TV. No, the toilet is a metaphor. The toilet is a deep metaphor. Exactly. And so I wanted to speak about a pyramid too. So, you know, Saturn and Capricorn represent a mountain. It represents an attic. It represents a pyramid. And so what does the fundamental shape of the pyramid look like? It's like a triangle. And as you ascend, you have less and less land to stand on. Whether if I'm in an attic, then that means it's a small cramped space. Like, it's smaller than what the second floor is going to be, just by design. So the higher you get, the less people is going to be around you, and the things that you are going to see have to be completely different. You can't expect to ascend and see the same old shit. It's not even logical. And if we're going to use analogies and metaphors to explain this astrology, Capricorn is a earth sign. Earth is the shit that we living in right now. This is Earth. Physical level shit, Earth. Saturn and Capricorn is Earth, and the analogy is fitting. The higher we climb, the different our reality is gonna be. And are you ready for that? Or are you just like searching for the same old shit? The card of the day is the Chariot. And I really want people to pay close attention to the Chariot. Look at the Chariot when it comes through on the slide. Like, look at what is happening. You see a man moving, but he is not steering. He's not driving. He's not directing. The energy that rules the Chariot is Cancer. Cancer is all about emotional connectivity. If you see a Chariot, if you get the Chariot, this means to let go and be directed by your emotions. The problem with human beings is that they ignore their emotions. They don't want to go up their emotional scale. They will either get mad real easy. It don't take shit to get a person mad in 2018. I could do it like without thinking, literally. But when it comes to positive, higher vibrations, it's hard to get people up that scale. When it comes to your own personal life, you may be trying to actively direct your emotional frequency and trying to steer. The Chariot is like, all you have to do is trust your spirit, trust your soul, trust your inner guide, trust your higher self, trust your emotional, trust the blood that runs through your veins from the ancestors of millions and billions of souls, flows through your brains. Do you know that billions of people have lived for your existence in this moment? But you take no note of it because you worried about what happened today at work with Susie and them. Did she get fired? I told you she was gonna get fired. I told you. That stupid shit. But then you got billions of ancestors living through you that want to help you, that want to build with you, that want to enlighten your ass, but you won't even. It's not even a thing to you. The Queen of Swords speaks to an event of dependency or a person that is dependent on another thing, person, or place, but not dependent upon herself. And then when it comes to the Chariot, I'm not trying to diss or say what can't happen. I'm trying to say what actually can happen when you connect to your soul. By default, you get on the go. It's time to move. It's time to direct yourself. If you focused on what you're not doing or what you don't got or where you can't go, then that's an energy too. But if you focus on your higher self and your higher spirit, then you by default get shit going. And the more that you do it, the better that it happens. So ultimately, when you stop depending on outer things, you start depending on inner things, you start to instantly we get instantly into Saturn and Capricorn. We deal with the 9 of this and the 10 of this. The 9 of this represents gain. The gain, a simple word to understand the 9 of this, is a pleasant surprise. So if you ever in a reading or whatever the case may be and you pull the 9 of this, it's like, oh, somebody's going to get pleasantly surprised, or you're like, you know what I'm saying? So in reference to this reading, it's like once you let go of the dependency that, oh, I need you, oh, I need this, oh, I need to be here, then instantly you deal with a level of gain. Instantly you deal with a level of wealth, because the 10 of this speaks to inner wealth. That's what this card speaks to, inner wealth. And then inner wealth manifests as outer wealth, meaning that Steve Jobs didn't just nobody just came to Steve Jobs like, I got the bag for you, bro, here. No. He developed some shit within him and brought it to the surface and got wealth. Like, Apple makes so much money, it's crazy. But that all represents an inner wealth within a person that they brought to a surface, and now it's a system now. But we all got shit within us. Like, how do we know that we can't be successful? How do we know that we can't be, conglomerate moguls if we don't project the shit that's within us? How you just going to just know that you ain't going to be successful, or know that you ain't going to be wealthy? Because you ain't doing the shit to be it. So that's how you know. And this is how you know when you dealing with the Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords meaning, I got all this shit to think about and none of this real shit to do. I got a whole bunch of shit to think about. But when it comes to doing, when it comes to acting, when it comes to bringing out my inner wealth and projecting it on the surface as outer wealth, I'd rather just think about it. Because thinking about it is cool. No. You got to really understand this card. And so, this was the energy that I was thinking about, that I was hoping that I would get for this day. And, I pulled it. So, congrats to Saturn wanting to be known, wanting to put his face out there. So this is it. The universe, and really understanding the world, or not even the world, understanding this whole space-time continuum that we live in, as opposed to this neighborhood or this street or this block. Like, how? Like, yeah, I do live in Columbus, but I also live in the universe too. I live in both places, and I could either focus on the fact that I live in Columbus, or I can focus on the fact that I live in the universe. And what does that mean for the fact that I'm a resident or a citizen of this universe and the sector of Earth? It has a special significance. And if I'm not able to see past my neighborhood, my street, my block, my hood, and whatever the case may be, then I'm going to be subjugated. And this is how I know they got y'all hook, line, and sinker, because every Sunday y'all be talking about y'all team. Nigga, that's not your team. Did you pay? Like, what are you talking about? Your team? You live in a city? What city? Like, what are you talking about? So of course, millions of people are subjugated by their city or their school or their neighborhood. Well, that's not the energy of Saturn. That's the energy of glamour and illusion. Once you get out of that way of thinking, like, oh, I'm a Ohioan. No, the hell I'm not. I'm a universalist. I'm a spirit. I'm a soul. This is the reality. And if you're not going to deal with that reality, you're going to deal with some level of glamour or illusion, and that's okay. But you must know what I'm talking about too, because maybe 10 years from now, you'll come back to this conversation like, okay, none of this shit really did matter, you know. And so the book of the day is by Alice Bailey. It's called Glamour. It's called A World Problem. It's a difficult book to read. It's not a New York Times bestseller or nothing like that. But it's very much, if you're ready for it, it's powerful. If you're not ready for it, then just leave it alone. Because the reality is that everybody is not ready to see glamour, illusion, or Maya. They're very much more comfortable laying up with the man, woman of their dreams, living in a big ass house, driving a nice car, and going back and forth to work every day. That's enough for them. But for us that don't know why we are here, don't want to believe everything that we've been told, and want to research and look deeper into our lives, this book is perfect for you. Because the reality is, on the other side, there is much more. And what I've understood of being on the other side of the illusion and the glamour is that my relationships are the only thing that is real. The love that I experience between me and my wife is the only thing that's real, because even when our bodies disappear from this planet, our love is going to still be a thing. That's where I'm at. So I'm trying to deal with what's real to me, which is the relationships and the love of the souls and the spirit, and connecting and becoming one again. Because we were all once one thing, and then we came down into this earth and we got split up. And now my goal is to reconnect our souls and our spirits again. That's what I figured out being on the other side. But you might figure out something completely different being on the other side. But it doesn't come about, you know, trying to get a new car and working so hard to be something or do something. It's really about really investing this time and energy into your soul. So hope that message was well received. It's good to be back, good to be on top of my thing, and good to answer all of those Patreon inquiries and things of that nature. I feel fresh and like ready to take on this week. Ready to study, ready to plan, ready to, you know, share more love, spread more love, you know. So if anybody's interested in readings or things of that nature, hit me up at hoodmystic@gmail.com. If interested in the cash tea, be sure to let me know, because those things are available for under $20. You can get your very own cash tea. And what this shirt is just not a regular shirt. It's an actual invention. It's an actual spiritual modality that you could use to invite more money in your life. You could wear it as an undershirt, you could wear it as a top shirt, but the reality is that every symbol on this sign has a particular intention. You know, the moon is based upon the crescent, which is actually a symbol of growth. Anarchy is actually